The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning from TFNN. Welcome to the May 11th Magical Monday edition of today's opening bell on the Trader's Edge. I'm your host, Steve Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. Great to be back with you. Let's make sure that you and I do everything we can to have an extraordinary day, an extraordinary week. Of course, the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life happens for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I, we make that one little 2x4 shift out there, it just simply means that you and I can find a gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to throw at us. What a way to live out there. I hope that's how you're living your life. Tell you one way I'm living my life. I'm grateful for your presence here today. Now, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone, dial on in at 877-927-6648. Of course, internationally, you can pick up the line as well. You can call in on 727-445-1044. This is Magnificent Monday. Of course, it's Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, we got Dow futures up 8 points, trading out at 18,129. S&P futures up 1 at 2109.50. NASDAQ up 6 points. She's trading at 44.54. Russell 2000 up slightly. How about that U.S. dollar index? Up 326 ticks right now, trading out at 95.23. We'll go take a look at the euro. We'll go take a look at the hard currencies. Goldilocks is flat. She's trading at 1188.60. Silver's flat as well, trading at 1645. Light sweet crude trading at 59.21. A quick peek across the globe. Let's go see what we've got going on over in Europe this morning. A little bit of a mixed bag. The FTSE is flat. She's up 3 points. But if we do take a look at the FTSE, let's start off there over in the UK. Nice wide-ranging bar, big wide-ranging bar on Friday's session out there. Markets do not end on wide-ranging bars, but at this stage here today, it's just been kind of like a timeout, day off. No reversal in sight as we speak at whatever time it is right now, just past 9 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast. What the FTSE needs to do, what it would like to do is take out the April 27th high, 7122.74. What we know about the FTSE is if you just simply put this thing on a weekly basis at this stage, and so this is going to be really interesting to watch this as we enter into the unfavorable seasonal cycle because of the correlation of markets around the world, is the FTSE has come back on a weekly basis. It broke through the 1999 highs. It did that the week that began March 16th. We've seen it reject that level by getting back inside the lower part of the range and then simply broke out with a wide-ranging bar here. That was the week from a weekly base that began April the 6th. We've seen 2 tests of that area. The FTSE says it just does not like being in the lower part of that consolidation at all, wants to be above it. So long as it continues to close above 6950.60, that is its message. If we take a look at the DAX, we'll just leave this on a weekly basis right here for the moment. Take a look at how the DAX ended up the week. Then we'll switch over to the daily chart. In the case of the DAX, what we can see here at this stage of the game last week was actually a hammer candle. It looks really close. I have to say that on a weekly basis, the wick of that candle is twice the size of that body, and the upper end of that wick doesn't look to be too bad. Really close. So now the DAX here, whereas on a weekly basis, you can see that from a retracement standpoint, this is a hammer all the way down here for sure on October 13th. You can see the similarity between that candle and the one that formed here last week. So I wonder if that means anything. Well, what it does mean here is this. If you close below last week, which is 11,167.55, we're nowhere near that. But if we do see a close below that on a weekly basis, that actually says to me that instead of price making just a retracement down to the 0.382 level, it'd likely fall back into this cluster of swing points that began back in November. Again, it's a weekly chart that we're looking at November 2014 through the early part of January out there, right around the 98.90 area. Quick peek at the daily chart, see if there's any other meaning out here that we can look at. No, not really. If we look for trend lines, we could go take a look at that inside of the DAX. And so from a trend line standpoint, we'll just start from the top here on April 13th. And we'll just come down. That looks like that's basically your trend line out here. So price has a little bit further to go in order to be able to truly break its descending trend line out here. So we've got a fairly critical level of resistance. And of course, we'll take a look at last week's low, that hammer low, that bullish engulfing candle on the daily chart, May 7th, being the level of support. That's what's going on there. If we take a quick peek at the Nikkei, up 242 points last night. The Nikkei here, what do we see about the? What do we say about the Nikkei? What is that 0.382 retracement? What is that of? I think that's an extremely long-term 0.382 retracement going back into the 90s. In any event here, right now, what do we have? Nikkei just really consolidating up at the highs. Hey, no surprise there. Consolidating and trading higher because really you've got higher highs and higher lows out here inside of the Nikkei, with the exception of the fact that we have seen a close below the April 20th swing point. I'm still going with taking a look at higher highs and higher lows inside of the Nikkei. If we look at what went on in the Hang Seng last night, up 0.5%, up 140 points. Not really that big of a deal, but we do know that the Hang Seng has truly just been working off a very overbought condition. It's been doing that in the most bullish way that it can. Some might call that distribution. I would say it is nothing more than a market that got to an extremely overbought area, and it's working its way off in the most bullish way that it possibly can, which is just simply by trading sideways out here. The Hang Seng has definitely not given anything up. It is trading the way that you'd like to see it trade from the bullish standpoint. If we look at the Shanghai, up 3% last night, up 133 points, perhaps based upon the Bank of China reducing its key interest rate levels out here. This, too, was in an extremely overbought condition back on April 27th. And what we have seen it do is really work its way off in a very nice manner as well, with this consolidation at its highs out here. Looks to me like the message here is at least wants to get back and go test that April 28th high. That's in the 47.90-ish type level. Now to our markets. Let's go take a look at our markets. Let's start off by taking a look at the Dow futures contract. Here I'm going to take a look at a futures contract that is stitched together. And this contract here is stitched together. What we're going to pay attention to, actually, let me do this first. Let me get over and turn a couple of things off. That way, let me turn off these. There was a trend line down there. I didn't even see it. There was this. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Let's just take a look at basically a clean chart out here. Why do we want to look at a clean chart? Well, what we really want to do, what you and I want to do, is take a look at last Friday's candle session. Let's look at it both from a daily standpoint and a weekly standpoint. First, let's take a look at the strength of that bar. That is a wide-ranging bar, no matter how you go ahead and slice and dice it. Now, markets do not typically end on wide-ranging bars. What does Stevie mean by that? Well, take a look at this bar here. Let's just go back further left one at a time. Let's look for the next wide-ranging bar. Well, we had a nice wide-ranging bar here on April the 6th. What did the market do for the next couple of trading sessions? Just simply traded sideways before it went ahead and decided to go test its swing point. Well, what's sticking out right now is the swing point out here from March the 2nd, the top of which has not been tested. Let's take a look at a couple of wide-ranging bars coming back. Well, we do have this wide-ranging bar right here. This is the week from March 30th. And the very next trading session, what we saw price go ahead and actually give back a majority of those gains. And then what happened? Price went back and tested the lower swing point out there. So if during today's trading session, we see something more like that occurred on March 31st out there, then we probably have a move back down to test the lows of the swing point. Otherwise, if you continue to go back further on the left, a wide-ranging bar on March 18th, markets continued to motor higher. On March 16th, markets continued to motor higher. On March the 12th, we saw it give back motion, come back and test that lower swing point. So we have a really good gauge as to what happens with regard to these wide-ranging bars, depending upon what takes place on the very next trading session out there. So what does that say to you and I? If the market moves sideways throughout the day, kind of boring radio that we've got here, because you're used to action, Jackson, out there. But if we do see a market that moves sideways, what does that mean to you? What it means to me, if you go take a look at the wide-ranging bars, just come on back here and take a look at what happened on February 5th. when the market's just simply, after a nice wide-ranging bar, just really moved sideways for a couple of days, went ahead and not just tested highs, went ahead and made an expansion of a set of highs out there. So these wide-ranging bars have a lot of meaning with regard to their next trading session. The same thing on January 22nd. We saw it give back a lot of those gains, as well as what we saw take place on January 8th and January 9th out here. So today's trading session is muy importante. And if we just see a sideways move, what that says, and that doesn't mean that we have to see a sideways move. I'm just saying, if we do, what that means to us, what it should mean to you, is that we're going to go see the market go test those highs from March the 2nd out there. In the futures contract, you're looking at 18,194. Can it take that level out? It most certainly can. And if it does, then you're looking at a consolidation between about we'll call it 14,750 to 18,170. So what is that? 250, 350, 400-point move if we see a breakout with any kind of conviction above 18,194. Nothing can be ruled out. That's what's going on. Now, if we take a look at the daily TAS profiles, this is not the current contract. This is the old style of stitching the contracts together. Price is above resistance here, and it says it's got freedom to go run and test those highs, maybe even take out the March 2nd level out there. But I don't really think it's all up to the Dow that's going to be the deciding factor out here, although it is one that we want to pay attention to because of that wide-ranging bar that you and I looked at. Instead, let's go take a look at the NASDAQ futures. What's the story behind the NASDAQ futures? You know, a decent bar on Friday, but not a wide-ranging bar, so to speak. If we take a look at its market profiles, it is not above the resistance of the top of that box, which is priced out at 44.63 out there. If, in fact, we see the Nikkei, if we see the Nikkei, too, you know, actually start trading here this morning, that'll be pretty cool. Futures are trading, but certainly not the indice. If we take a look at the NQ, though, if it closes above 44.63, that's a really good chance that then it's saying that it's going to go test the highs out here, those highs being April 27th. If we see that, maybe make a slightly higher high. If we see that, expect the Dow to actually start leading on the way up as it makes its ascent into Mount Everest up there. So inside the NASDAQ futures, the line that's drawn in the sand here today, for you and I to be paying attention to, is 44.63. If we go take a look at what's going on inside of the ES Mini, the S&P futures contract, that had a nice wide-ranging bar as we take a look at Friday's section out here. Markets don't end, or typically do not end on wide-ranging bars. What does this say? This says that the ES Mini wants to go test that key reversal session from April 27th. The low of that is 2100.25. You're at 2109. You're at a significant level of resistance. This has acted as resistance right here. If it does not act as resistance today, that says that price goes ahead and tests 2119.75. It can go ahead and take that out. If we see, and that is a key reversal session. What does that mean? It just means that's a candle session, in this case here, more bearish than just simply the bearish engulfing candle that it represents. And taking that level out, old resistance could become new support. So whether it's today, and it may not be today, tomorrow, or the next day, we know the key levels to be watching, and that's what you and I each day, each morning, each afternoon, each evening, we'll keep an eye on so that the market can give its message to us. When we get back from this break here, let's go take a look at the currency pairs. Let's go look at the Euro Japanese yen, the Euro US dollar, and anything else you'd like, but you got to give me a holler at 877-927-6648. We'll be right back. Do you know the 7 most critical factors that influence every decision you make, and how not knowing these will jeopardize the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve? I'm Steve Rhodes, morning host at TFNN.com, and for the last quarter of a century, I've studied and used the secrets of human growth, the same formulas used by leaders of nations, billionaires and millionaires, and the most successful athletes on the planet. Would you like to break through any obstacle that gets in between you and the success you deserve? Would you like to turn fear into strength? If you could find a way to achieve, be fulfilled, and live a life of meaning, wouldn't you want to know the answer? I'll teach you the factors that control your state of mind and the drivers that impact every thought, emotion, behavior, and action we take in my new webinar, The Psychology of Trading. Join me for this 2-part online event where I'll unveil the secrets to human pattern recognition, because they're not what you think. And soon, you'll have the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on The Psychology of Trading to begin your journey now.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days, and will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
TigerTV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. TigerTV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Steve takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. No change in the futures market. Let's go see what's going on inside the currency. Let's start off by taking a look at the euro-U.S. dollar. Of course, this has been that's why we want to pay attention to this chart here. Shows us why you and I should be paying attention to channel lines, whether they're horizontal, diagonal. In this case here, it's a diagonal descending price channel line out here. And the reason why we pay attention to it is because they form long in advance, and they allow you and I to anticipate where price is likely going to head to and where price is likely going to go and run into either resistance or support. In this case here, it's really the resistance of that euro currency pair. And once it broke above the consolidation area, these highs out here that had acted as resistance since March the 26th time frame, we saw price move above that back on April 29th out there, with a pretty decent wide-ranging, with a pretty decent bar, I should say, at that stage here. That suggestion to both you and I was that it was going to go tag that level. Now, what was amazing is that you and I had drawn this line in here well in advance of price getting up to that area. And what we took a look at on Thursday last week was price hit that level and just smack dab right into resistance. Now we've started to see price pull back here. What does that mean when we take a look at the euro currency pair out here? You know, I would have to say that we could draw another trend line. We ought to. Why don't we? As long as we're all together here. Let's draw we'll use it doing a channel out here. Let's do that. It'll show up in yellow, but Stevie here, we can go change the color. And let's just see if this is And the question is, where do we draw it? Is it about right here? Is that the level? That looks to be not too shabby out here. Let me see here. Let's just go ahead and we'll pull this back, see if we can find some pretty good connections out here. You know, I'd have to say that's probably pretty good. Why not? Let's go ahead and use that. So at this stage of the game, let's go ahead and make that a color. What color would you like this morning? What flavor ice cream would you like with your trend line this morning out here? Hey, you know, we haven't used, we don't use that color. Let's use that bright green. You know, there's nothing like a little bright green in the morning. Actually, you're trading for green, aren't you? So let's go ahead and we'll put that nice little bright green out there, that little lime flavor. We'll make this a key lime pie here this morning. So we've got lemon meringue. That's the descending price channel. And we got the key lime pie going up. Hey, are those two good pies or what out there? So I'd have to say that price is likely going to pull back into that area. Now, what's interesting here, as we take a look at this currency pair, is actually that price, that descending or that rising price channel that price is in right now, as it would pull back, it would get to the bottom of that trend line, channel line, and really looks like be coordinating itself with the top of that daily market profile. TAS market profile in the 109-ish area. So it looks to me like perhaps that's what happens. Now, of course, if that's what happens, then we see the U.S. dollar index most likely move higher as it is right now, just simply because the weighting structure of the euro inside of the U.S. dollar index out there. That would then say that the bottom that we have seen out here is a decent temporary bottom. You ought to see the U.S. dollar index bounce up to 96.14. So that's the message of that currency pair. If we go take a look at the euro versus the Japanese yen, we'll see a similar-ish style pattern out here as we took a look at the euro US dollar indice. Looks like this thing could also pull back. If we just take a look at retracement levels out here. Now, if this pulls back and our markets are moving higher, that's a bit of a headwind. But it looks like price ought to make the 132.21 level on its pullback. We go take a look at the Great British Pound this morning. Great British Pound just slightly up. Of course, the Great British Pound had a nice day on May the 7th. That was on Thursday. A little bit of follow through on Friday. Right now, it is trying to clear its most recent swing out here of a potential A to B equals CD to the upside. That's the April 29th high, 1.5499. Now, in order to get above that, it's got this kind of congestion zone. So that congestion zone being the wide-ranging bar to the downside, right at the 1.558 level. If price can get above that, then what is likely to unfold is that A to B equals CD pattern. Now, the A to B equals CD pattern inside the Great British Pound, it would be a doozy if it can take that out. Now, if the Great British Pound is moving higher, that will actually go ahead and put that will get stronger. The U.S. dollar index here would get weaker. So you think the Great British Pound is like about 10, 11, 12% of the U.S. dollar index out here. So, you know, considering the euro is 56, 57% out there, we still pay attention to this, but this would be a competing force with regard to what the U.S. dollar index might be doing. So any close above 1.558, and we're likely to see a move into the 160 area, I would have to say more likely than not, depending on the style of the move, 163 would not be out of the question. That's inside the Great British Pound. The Japanese yen, U.S. dollar Japanese yen currency pair, well, we're just about to go to break, but let's just take a look at it. It ain't doing nothing. It's just moving sideways. It's just been consolidating, quite frankly, since about November 18th. Not too long after that October 31st level inside in the Japanese yen, when the Japanese said, hey, let's go take our retirement funds and invest them worldwide instead of just Japan. We'll be right back.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization automation capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or TigerTV streams. We say you can.
Each and every time that the dollar ticks higher, S&P wants higher price. Each and every time that the dollar's ticking lower, guess what? S&P wants lower price. Dollar, the metals, and the S&P are going tick for tick.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're off to the races. We got the Dow down 11 points, traded 18,170. S&P is flat, trading at 2116. Composite up 8 points at 5,011. Russell 2000 up $1.90 at 1236. DAX back 62 points. The FTSE's off $1.70. Gold's up $1. Silver's up 15 pennies, leading the charge. The upside. Tavis, ACT is a ticker symbol, up 3.5%, up $10 and change right now. Rosetta Resources, ROSE, up 29%. Don't know if that's a buyout or what's going on there, but we'll take a look at it. Biogen, BIIB, up $5 this morning. Zillow, up $4.70. Netflix, up $6. Wayfair Inc., up about 9%. That's up $2.70. Monster Beverage, up $4. Baidu's up $3. Zulily, up a couple of bucks. To the downside, Noble Energy, up $2.50. That's down 5%. Etsy Inc., they're trading out there. That went public a while ago. That's off 10%, down $2.40. We'll take a look at that. I have an opinion on Etsy. We'll go take a look at a stock chart and see what that opinion is. Starwood Hotels off $1.30. That's down 1%. No big deal out here. Chicago Bridge and Iron off $1 this morning here. Travelers Company's down 82 cents out here. Okay, let's go take a look at. Let's go look at gold and silver. Let's do that. Let's move that out of the way. Take a look at what's going on there. If we take a look at gold, the best thing we can say with regard to gold is there's nothing really good to say about it. We know that this is under the hand or the thumb of the invisible market. Who that is, I don't know. But closes inside of gold have been in a prolonged sideways move out here. It means the market doesn't have a clue, in my opinion, as to what gold really wants to do out here. We know that using all the tools that we can, even with initiation moves off of full moons, we have seen the last two basically fail out there. So I cannot really tell you which way gold wants to go. I cannot. It's not that I can't. It's not that I won't. It's just that I can't. I cannot tell you which way gold wants to go in taking a look at this chart out here. It's headed sideways. I just know one thing. And that is that those sideways patterns inside of gold, when it does decide that it's going to go in one direction, it should be explosive. Because this is a hold, and then bang pattern that is out there. And this is a long holding period inside of gold. If we look for clues out there, like in the case of silver, see if silver helps us out with any clues. And, not necessarily. And I'm not that enthused with that descending price channel that it was broken out of. It was so narrow that, that's not that big of a deal. Now it's really the horizontal trading range that it's in here with regard, and it's been in a less of a horizontal range, I would say, maybe less than gold, but silver is not giving me any signal or any clue as to what it wants to do. Maybe it is you, and so call in and lend your eyes to the stock chart out there, but I can't tell you which way it's going. A little different story in light sweet crude, up 31 cents right now, trading out at 59.70. We know about light sweet crude is that it has just slightly broken below that rising price channel. Did that on Friday. Today it's gone up and it's tested the top of that the bottom of that rising price channel. And what we can also see is that we've got a significant level of resistance, that TAS market profile, at the 59.90 level. If light sweet crude is unable to get back inside that rising trend line, then we could see a pullback in about 56.17 inside of Texas T black gold out there. So that's what's going on inside of those three commodities. Let's go take a look at some things here that are moving in the markets. Let's go take a look at what's moving to the upside. Let's go take a look at Actavis. ACT is the ticker symbol. They're out with numbers. Their numbers go like this, 1.72 billion. Whoa, how about that? First quarter product sales, more than a double. That's what did they do? Did they buy somebody out? Fiscal year net revenue, as reported. Well, the revenues, product sales, 1.7 billion versus 572 million out there, and their loss. What is their loss here? 1.85 what versus a loss of 55 cents. Let's just say they tripled their revenues and they tripled their loss out here. That's pretty impressive work, isn't it? At least they were consistent about that. In any event, let's go take a look at what the stock is doing. It's gapped up this morning into a most recent swing point from April the 15th. You're trading above that. What does that say? It says that at this stage here, if it can hold these gains, it probably heads into the March 20th high out there. Only 8.8 million shares out there, and that's the price point of 317.72 to 314. ACT is the ticker symbol there. If we take a look at Netflix, up about $8 right now, trading out at 582. Netflix here, nice sign of strength back here on April the 16th. It's now taking out the swing point high from the trading day of April 20th, which was 576.13. We put this on a weekly time frame, and Netflix, go take a look at what it's doing out here. In the case of Netflix, boy, that is a nice looking stock chart. That's a large A to B equals CD to the upside that Netflix could be steadying up here. In fact, It's large. It's grande. But let's just take a look at the consolidation pattern. That might be the easier thing to do. Let's try to draw that box in here and see if Stevie can actually move the box. So that's basically your consolidation box. Now let's see if I can actually move it. There we go. To give us, to take a look at a price projection out here. That's probably the more conservative approach. That says that what we ought to see Netflix do is get up to 663 or so. You're at 584 as we speak right now. NFLX is the ticker symbol. That was a weekly chart that we just were eyeing. Let's go take a look at Rosetta Resources. That Rosetta Stone out there, Rosetta Resources, to get, from Noble Energy. No, I don't think it was Rosetta Stone out there. It was Rosetta Resources. Hey, that makes a whole lot of sense. So that is on a buyout. We won't spend any time there. How about Nervro Corp, Nevro, NVRO? What do we have going out there? I don't know what they do, but they are trading higher by 27% out here this morning. Looks like they are a drug maker, and they have something going on with their obesity drug. Nothing obese about this. This stock chart was an IPO back on the trading day of November the 6th. It was traded as low as $23. You're at 57 as we speak right now. This is a gap number 2 out here. So taking out a swing point, that was from back on April 13th. That high was 55.05. Only had volume of 154,000 shares. You've done 122,000 as we speak right now. So that looks to be trading, should continue trading higher. Monster Beverage, MNST. That ticker symbol is, as I say, MNST up $4.64, up 3%. Now, Monster Beverage had a monster move to the downside out here. That monster move, we were going to take a look at it just in case this thing had an island reversal top out here. That could still take place, but it is certainly not taking place here today. Monster Beverage had a monster move to the upside. That was on February 27, 6.2 million shares. And then on Friday, a monster move to the downside, 10 million shares out there. So this would really suggest that, assuming there is no island reversal top, this is just in a consolidating pattern between the breakout and the breakdown, or really the 144 level to probably the 125 area out here. That is in Monster. Let's go take a look at Zillow for our man Z inside the Tiger's Den. That's up 5% here this morning. What is Zillow doing? Zillow's got this high volume, untested swing point low from April 14th. At some point in time, it probably does get down and test that level around 81.07. That's got 12 million shares. But it also has a high volume, untested high with 11 million shares out there. So not to confuse anyone, but let's face it, this stock has got high volume high and a high volume low. What's likely to be tested first? I would have to say at this stage here, it is the low until it breaks through a little trend line or channel line out here that you would try to draw inside of this equity. Right now, resistance inside of Zillow, 100.01. Let's look at some things here that are cracking to the downside. Not a lot of cracking going on, but if we take a look at Toyota Motor, TM is the ticker symbol. That is moving lower as we speak right now. Is there any big deal out here? Hard to say. You know, here's a stock that is traded in the U.S., but really traded on the exchange over in the Nikkei. And I would say to really get a feel for what's going on inside this equity, we'd have to jump onto that exchange to get a flavor for what's going on inside Toyota Motor. Therefore, let's not, because you've got currency conversions, let's not spend any time there. I should not have clicked on it to begin with. So let's just, we'll just do the quick reverse there, and you won't even know that. Let's go take a look at HubSpot Inc. HubSpot up 5%. Or down 5%, I should say, off $2.40 out here. HubSpot, is that the Grubhub out there? I would imagine. I don't know. It's either Grubhub or it is, what's the other one? The ticket one out there. Something Hub. In any event, this thing had a nice wide-ranging bar out here for this equity on May 7th, 1.1 million shares. We can go take a look at the last wide-ranging bar inside this equity. That takes you back into February 13th, 391,000 shares. We saw price come back basically to the breakout level. It did that by getting back to the low of that trading session from February 13th. That low is 37.14. Price came back there with 344,000 shares versus 391. That looks to me like what is going on here. Price probably does come back inside of HubSpot into the 42.05. Perhaps it even closes the gap and gets down and tests the low of 39.25. HubSpot, H-U-B-S, is the ticker symbol out there. Let's look at Shake Shack. Let's go shake it up a little bit out here. Shake Shack, known for their shakes, I imagine. or really probably their burgers, right? Never been in a Shake Shack, so I can't comment on how good their burgers are, nor can I comment on how good their shakes are. But I can tell you is that on Friday, it did form a nice little hammer candle out there. So it's got some competition inside of the buyers and sellers out here. You've got buyers saying, hey, there's value in Shake Shack at $61.50. That is the low of the hammer candle. As well, you've got sellers that are saying, I'll sell you all the Shake Shack I can get up at the price point of $79.50. This had a nice wide-ranging bar on May 7th on Thursday out there. Volume to the downside was 1.4 million shares. If we see a close below that hammer candle from Friday, that low again, $61.50, if you're long, you're wrong. Of course, what you know that means is that you move back to the most prior swing point or levels of support, and inside in the case of Shake Shack, that takes you back into the IPO date, probably around 52.50 before it would find a level of support, assuming that it cracks through and closes below the low of that hammer candle. We've got Pioneer Natural Resources. PXD is the ticker symbol. Last week we had David Einhorn doing an eloquent job. You know, if you were a cut, paste, and assemble guy like a CPA, you would have enjoyed, and I only caught 3/4 of it. In fact, I want to go find it on the internet and listen to the entire. Now, look, I understand he is influencing. He's the influencer out there, and he's telling one side of the story. But assuming his facts are correct, and I believe his facts were correct, I don't think he was providing any wisecracks out there. I mean, he was not providing you with any bad information, just information that might influence you out there. It was pretty interesting, the information he had about the frackers. Of course, he called PXD the mother fracker of all frackers out there. And we can see inside the case of Pioneer Natural Resources, that too looks like a hammerish style candle on May the 7th out here. But I'm going to go back and listen to that. It was eloquent the way that he put the numbers. The nice thing was that he was able to link the known to the unknown. He was able to communicate what was going on underneath the covers by ripping apart that industry, by taking a look at their MD&A, by taking a look at their filings to be able to put together what's really going on inside of the fracking business out there. I thought it was pretty cool. You may not have. Well, anyways, I didn't tell you where is it headed to. Well, if you see it close below that hammer candle out here, let's pull this back as we take a look at Pioneer Natural Resources out here. What could this be doing? Well, it's certainly broken this little rising trend line that it had coming off the lows here from December the 12th. And that would say to me that that would be the target. And he closed below last week's lows out here. Pretty good chance that Pioneer Natural Resources runs down to 127.31 to maybe 134 and change out there. If we take a look at what else is moving here to the downside, you've got Etsy. I mentioned Etsy out there. So Etsy, now there's a group that was pushing all kinds of BS, all kinds of before Steve information out there. They were talking about, how large, how many artists that they had inside of Etsy and how great it was. And the reality is I think there's only a handful of those folks that use Etsy that really do really well out there. And it is not surprising for me to see this stock here and for it to trade below its IPO date. In fact, it has consistently done that out there. Anybody in the know that would really go out and take a look at the folks that are using that would just have to say, really? In any event, it's trading at $20.60. No idea where it heads to, but the stock chart, I think, is more emblematic of what really goes on inside of its customer base out there. Tesoro down $1.65. That's off about $1.50 right now. That's 1 6/10% to the downside. Let's go see what Tesoro's got in store for us out here. Consolidating up at these highs. Been really consolidating since about the February 18th time frame. Maybe you can go back a little bit further, but between $82, $83.94. So you've got a nice little 13-point consolidation range out here. Nothing here to indicate which way. It looks like it wants to go up to the highs versus the lows as its next move. That is ticker symbol TSO, Tesoro. Right now we got the Dow. She's off a full 3 points out there. S&P's up 92 cents. Composite up $9. Russell up 4 points. We ought to go take a look at the Russell 2000 when we get back from this breakout here. This is Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Do you know the 7 most critical factors that influence every decision you make, and how not knowing these will jeopardize the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve? I'm Steve Rhodes, morning host of TFNN.com, and for the last quarter of a century, I've studied and used the secrets of human growth, the same formulas used by leaders of nations, billionaires and millionaires, and the most successful athletes on the planet. Would you like to break through any obstacle that gets in between you and the success you deserve? Would you like to turn fear into strength? If you could find a way to achieve, be fulfilled, and live a life of meaning, wouldn't you want to know the answer? I'll teach you the factors that control your state of mind and the drivers that impact every thought, emotion, behavior, and action we take in my new webinar, The Psychology of Trading. Join me for this 2-part online event where I'll unveil the secrets to human pattern recognition, because they're not what you think. And soon, you'll have the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on The Psychology of Trading to begin your journey now.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Steve Rhodes as he teaches techniques on technical analysis using pattern recognition, celestial charting, Fibonacci, and other tools. The Trader's Edge, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Dow's off 16, S&P is flat, the composite's up 4, but as is the Russell 2000. So are we going to learn something from weakness out here? I say weakness. If we go take a look at the daily futures contract for the Russell 2000, we're going to see a nice little descending price channel that is trying to crack above right now. Now, it's only traded into its market profile, a point of control. That's the congestion zone where both buyers and sellers like hanging out. That's at the 1236 type area. If we do see a close above that, then that says from weakness weakness, it wants to move higher. Let's go take a look at the message of the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. What do we know about the IWM? It was unable to bust out the lows. It tested the lows on 4 separate occasions. The very last one was a failure on price and volume. The price point was 120.70. There were 32 million shares. That test came in on Thursday, and it was with 29 million shares. If you can't bust them down, what do? You try to go bust them to the upside. So the IWM here, as its market profile is now set up, they have a bullish bias. That means that they can easily travel up to the 125.66 level. They need to get above this little downdraft session from April 30th that had 72 million shares. I don't suspect we're going to see it get above it with volume out there, but nonetheless, it can continue to move higher. So that's what we'll be paying attention to. Can we learn from weakness out here? If we take a look at just what's going on inside of the S&P futures contract right now, the level of resistance it has to take out is going to be 21.13. On my screen out here from upper left to lower right, we've got the 30-minute, then the 60, then the 120 in the upper right. Lower left is going to be 240, 300 in the center, and daily contract to the right. If we take a look at 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 6 contracts, what we can see at that 21.13.50 level, you will see your market profile resistance, 21.13.50 to be exact. Any close above 21.13.50, and this market then inside the ES Mini has no resistance in sight as we can see it right now, because the daily contract price is above that level. So if you get above 21.13 and the on the 30-minute chart, price is above resistance as we speak right now. So any move above 21.13.50 that's sustained, the markets will continue to head further north. Folks, have a marvelous Monday. Stay tuned, because hour 2 of the Trader's Edge will be up next. But in between, we've got our man Tom O'Brien. He's going to go ahead and give us a market minute update. Have a wonderful Monday. Look forward to seeing you soon, folks.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.